and here and
right about
over
like,
there. Yeah, over
like
there. And
you're
picking the bear's
good.
nose right there.
Just a little lower.
Yeah.
Just a
There.
little lower.
Oh, there
A
we
little lower.
go. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Last week we did mammoths. That was fun. I bought a truck over the weekend. That was kind of cool.
Yes, it is quite the beast.
Yeah, I got a brand new Toyota Tundra. I've had my old Toyota Tundra. We bought that one brand new in 2003. So I've been driving that for 16 years, and so it was time to hand down that truck to my son-in-law Chad Barron and get a new truck. But so anyway, but let's just dive in. As usual, I've got my trusty Dustin over there. Yeah.
Hi. How's it going, everybody?
And he's going to be fielding questions from Facebook for me. And then over in Sarasota, Florida, I've got my business partner, Nick Birch, and he's going to be fielding questions from all the other platforms. A lot of stuff. And if you're watching today, I'm drawing bears. And we're going to give you, if you're watching today, go over to my website, creatureartteacher.com. And if you make any purchases, type in the code 15bears. That's 15 bears. 15 BEARS, and that'll give you 15% off of your entire order. So, hey, we aim to please.
Uh-huh. You said this was a photo from your research trip.
Stay hydrated, my friend.
Stay hydrated. You said this was your research photo?
Yeah, this is from 1998. So this
98.
this is 98. This is 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
Is it with the camera that you still have? Or
No, this is an old 35 millimeter that I had. This is an actual film camera that I was shooting with.
Wow.
Yeah, this is an old 35 millimeter film camera that I was shooting with. It's a great. It was just great. It was an amazing trip, and I've got a lot of great photos from that trip. I should share the photo album. It's actually right here. Actually, I don't want to go through the whole thing because there's a lot in there. But
it'll probably take hours on itself.
Yeah, and it's really hard to see because it's a little bit frail. But there's some really cool photos in here. I like this one too, the action pose of that bear. Can you see it?
Yep.
The guy with the fish.
The fish in mouth.
Yeah, I like that one. I love the fluidity of the pose. And then the guy in the background. This is all at McNeil River. All of these photos. Look how close I got. Oh, this guy was great. These two. There's one there. The guy there. Can you see those okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Wait till you see how close this one got. This is a female, and she walked right past me. There's a video on Facebook, if you guys ever have watched it, where this guy is sitting on a gravel, kind of like gravel pad, next to a river, and this giant grizzly is sitting next to it. Remember that? That's the spot. That's where I was sitting. That's McNeil River, and those bears will really come up and sit next to you, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So if something happens, you're bear food. Yeah. But the bears are really good about keeping to themselves. But this one female, she caught this salmon, and this male was wanting to get her. I'm not using a telephoto. I'm just using a 50 millimeter lens. And I was trying to just quickly snap photos, and she went walking past me. And I could almost reach out and touch her, and she was about 600 pounds. She was giant. Giant.
She's a beast.
Here's a mama and cubs. Right, Dale?
A little lower.
Lower?
There you go.
There you go. Mama and cubs. So I got a lot of really great shots. The landscape is beautiful there. This is a doll sheep that we saw up on the side of the mountain, and so we just climbed up to it. And doll sheep are funny; they won't spook as long as you stay below them. If you get up above them, they'll spook.
Really?
But yeah, these are the white rams, and because if you get above them, you have the advantage. As long as they stay above you, they have the advantage, so they won't spook. So you can hike almost right up to them. It's pretty cool. But what's so funny?
Singing Star Wars. It's all over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
Caribou. Got some nice shots of caribou.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Need to do a painting
And a moose.
A moose. There's the moose.
There's a moose. Yeah. So lots of really cool shots.
I'm surprised you haven't turned it, many of those into paintings yet.
You know, it was stuck. It was put in storage, not in storage, but it was on a sandwich between some old books, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. And well, there you go. So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
You gotta stay hydrated, my friend. I'm still thirsty.
Still thirsty?
Mm-hmm. All right.
Were you up a little late last night?
No, I wasn't drinking at all. I was up late, but I was watching. I watched Aquaman. So I went and saw Aquaman. It's pretty good. So one of the things I want to show you the photo first of all. Let's go to. Let me pull the photo down. I'm going to use it as a reference. So here's the photo. There we go. So I like the pose, but I want to push it. I want it to feel like he's full. That's what the title of the painting is going to be called. Full. So it's the salmon run. You know, everyone does the big dramatic, the salmon jumping through the air, the bears catching it, chasing the salmon, all that kind of stuff. But there really is an element of, okay, after the meal, and all the bears are just stuffed. It's like Thanksgiving at your house, and everyone's falling asleep, and you're just gorged. And I think that can be kind of a funny little painting. So I want to do that, but I want to push it. So I want to push his pose to where he's a little bit more slouched and his gut is a little bit more full. Even the gulls, that are usually kind of fly in and snatch scraps and everything, even the gulls are just going to be sitting there going, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. I might even have a half-eaten salmon off to the side just to say, I can't eat another bite. So that's the goal here. So remember, you can, when you have your reference, let it serve you. Don't let you don't have to serve the reference. Let this reference serve you. And so in this case, it's there to be an inspiration, but it's not the end all. I want to take it further. So I'm just going to go in very roughly and start to draw.
How did you what did you like about Aquaman?
Oh, DC films are so, they're just so overwrought most of the time. They're so heavy. And
really, really dark.
Yeah, and so Jason Momoa is just a really appealing guy, and he doesn't take himself too seriously. And I just think he makes a really great Aquaman as far as that goes. He's fun. It's a little cheesy in spots, but it's still really fun.
Yeah, to be honest, even the trailers, like Jason Momoa himself is cool and everything, but Aquaman could not take him seriously with the posters of him in the traditional Aquaman outfit with like the gold scale with the.
They kind of build up. They build up to it in the film, so it kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. So here I'm just.
I don't see more than that.
And using my own knowledge of bear anatomy, I'm just kind of pushing it a little bit. But you can see I'm just drooping his head a little bit more. I really want to get this sag in the body.
Yeah, people saying that Wonder Woman is their favorite, and I personally agree when it comes to DC.
Yeah, there's some fun sequences. I mean, they go way overboard. There's definitely an element of suspended belief that you just have to let go in Aquaman, especially with the physics and things underwater. You just got to roll with it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to hate it. But other than that, once you get past all of that, then it's kind of cool. It's kind of a fun ride.
And have you seen the trailers for Shazam?
I have not.
Oh, you haven't?
No. So here, I'm pushing his belly. I want this belly to be really... But I hold on, Dustin. I'll come back to you, I promise.
No, you won't.
I want to show this pelvis. There's a leg right there. Just get a really full belly. Okay, go ahead, Dustin. Shazam.
Shazam.
I haven't seen Shazam.
It looks like fun. I can't remember who's starring in it, but it's you know Shazam, right? Like
Yeah.
little kid that every
Yeah.
time he says Shazam turns to a big superhero.
Yeah. I used to
Yeah.
watch the Saturday morning show,
Oh, nice.
live action. Let me answer a question real
Yeah.
quick. What country? I gotta move my questions over or I gotta shrink up the bear. That's what I gotta do. There we go. What country or place do you recommend to get close to diverse wildlife? Is it crazy expensive? Well, I mean, some countries obviously are going to be more diverse than others, and they're going to be more expensive. Some of the most diverse big game that I've ever seen that I always love to get back to is Africa, but obviously not everyone can afford to get to Africa. And North America has some great diversity. South America, Colombia, once you get into the rainforest, has the highest biodiversity in the world. I think it's second highest. So there's great biodiversity all over the world. Sorry, I just had lunch.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just had lunch, and I just had breakfast.
yeah.
Had a nice giant omelet.
And so it doesn't have to be crazy expensive. I mean, you can find diversity right where you live. You just have to know what to do and where to look for it, and not be it doesn't have to be huge big game. You know, uh, it just depends on what you're looking for.
Uh, is your drawing brush you're currently using available on your website?
Yes, this brush is currently available on my website. It is brush number 7 from my original custom brush set. Matter of fact, if you sign up for my newsletter, you'll get this brush for free, actually. I'm going to tighten up that. Whoa, hey.
And speaking of what brush is that currently, and what sketch program?
I am using Photoshop. This brush is my custom brush, like I said, number 7 from my. This is just one that I made a few years ago, and I just love the brush.
What is it again?
Wow! It's brush number 7 from my original set.
So it's number 8?
Yeah. And I'm working on a Wacom Cintiq, if you want to do the over-the-shoulder camera, Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
So people can see. My current tool is this Wacom Cintiq. I just purchased. We just got the latest Wacom Cintiq Pro 32. So I love this beast. It is a beast. And I love drawing big. You can see I'm able to draw really, really large.
When you're working at home, do you use an iMac or a MacBook Pro?
This is a Mac
Pro.
Mac Pro. This is a tower that I'm using.
More like a cylinder.
The cylinder, yeah. I'm not on a laptop.
But you do use a MacBook Pro when you're traveling.
I do. So I'm just sketching this in very, very quickly. I want to make sure I want to get the attitudes right.
What brand of sketchbook do you use?
I use a Strathmore sketchbooks. For if you're talking about just regular traditional sketchbooks.
Oh, and Nolan Taylor helped me out. So the actor who's playing as Shazam is Zachary Levi.
Gotcha.
Just a little pointer there.
So here, I'm thinking about the anatomy. I know there's a pelvis here, and I want him kind of slumped over on one side. So this thigh is kind of being pushed under, and he's just got all this weight on this arm, right through there.
Did you work with Tina Turner on Brother Bear?
Yes, I did. I recorded Tina Turner on Brother Bear. I recorded her up in the mountains just outside Zurich, Switzerland, at a studio there, and it was awesome. She was such a pro. I had lunch with her that day, her and Phil Collins and myself, and we had a really good time.
Dustin, you and Aaron should do a trailer reaction for Shazam.
Shazam!
Shazam!
I really liked the Saturday morning show when I was a kid. This is back in 1976, I think it was. 1976. So I want enough room here. I'm going to make them a little taller. There we go. So I just want to include a scene because a lot of people ask me about, including scenes like the background and stuff like that. So today I really wanted to make sure I did that. Sorry, Dustin, go ahead.
How do I subscribe to your newsletter? A free brush pack sounds very nice.
Well, it's not a brush pack. You get the free brush. You get the brush that I'm using right now. But the newsletter, and you'll also get, I think you get the elephant PDF for free as well. How to draw elephants. But just go to the website and go down to the newsletter section and sign up right there. My website is creatureartteacher.com. That's creatureartteacher.com. Can you pull it? Do you have a pull it up? Yep, radar. Good.
Creatureartteacher.com.
So right now what I'm doing, I want to get this gull in here. I really love the attitude of this gull. And I'm just going to draw him in. I love drawing gulls. Gulls were one of the first things I started really painting. I know it sounds like a weird thing, but they have really great rhythms, and their gray and white plumage really is a great light challenge when you're trying to paint light.
Somebody's asking to see me draw at some point. I don't think you want to see that. Nowhere near his level.
So gulls have a certain shape to themselves.
Can you draw a little cub with this bear?
Probably not. There's a certain attitude that I want to get with this. It's the fact that he ate too much. That's the attitude I'm going for. So it's not really a family attitude as much as it's I ate too much. Can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Did you have the chance to work out the snow bear story?
Yes, we have worked out the snow bear story, and Lyndon Ruddy, who has done our storyboarding course, Lyndon Ruddy is off and working on it in between some other responsibilities that he has.
What are the current dimensions of your canvas right now?
This is just over 13 inches by 20 inches, or 20 inches wide by 13.3. It's the same as a 20 by 30 or 20 by 30 inch format. But my longest dimension is not the 30. It's the 20. There we go. Just want to get that guy in there. Get his size a little bigger.
Do you have any experience with the art programs Krita or Paint Tool Sai? And would you recommend them? I can't afford Photoshop at the moment.
I don't have any experience with them. Photoshop, you don't have to buy outright. You can get Photoshop for $10 a month. So that's, 30 cents a day.
Roughly.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's usually the full Adobe package that's the really pricey monthly, right?
Yeah. Let me do this. So,
Can you explain the floating collar area on bears in detail? I've always found that area difficult to understand.
The floating collar area?
Floating collar area.
Not sure I know what they mean by the floating collar area, but I will do a little bear anatomy demonstration. I just want to opaque this guy in just so because he's sitting in front of our bear. So if we turn these off, let's go to a bear. Matter of fact, I have got Bum, bum, bum. I have got right here in my possession, here's a bear skull. So this is a grizzly bear skull. That's what I'm painting today. You can tell it's a grizzly bear by that forehead. Grizzlies have this dish in the front of their face. They have a forehead. This there's a break right there. A lot of the other bears are more smoothly sloped, and you can bite my head right off.
Clean.
Right there. So that's a big bear. So, and you can see that, look at the gap between the cheekbones and the ridge up here on the crest of the skull. That all is there to hold muscle. So everything you see here, all this space, is muscle. So that's a lot of big, hard, crunching, biting power. Major, major, major.
Yeah.
And so, just real quick. So if I draw this guy, he's going to have that forehead coming down. Grizzlies like that, they tend to have a bit of a lip. Notice how the mouth doesn't come way, way back.
Oh, and the person saying the floating collar is as in how there's no collarbone connecting everything.
Oh yeah, but that's okay, because there's quite a few animals that have that. So we're going to bring this across. Coming off the ear, that kind of leads into the meat underneath there's a cheekbone line right there, is where I usually think about it. There's that forehead. There's usually a line coming off of here. And you can see how that muscle bulges out, goes right into the shoulders right here. And then this all comes down like so. Now the muscle comes down like that, but you're not really going to see it a whole lot through all that fur. This is a lot of fur coming down right here. Here, what I can do, there's a shoulder there, shoulder here. There's where you're saying there's no collarbone, which there isn't. That comes down into the forearm. You can have a forearm coming down like that. And let's move this up. Coming down to the paw right there. Okay. This would come down to the body. You can see the paw coming off of here. There's the forearm and the body coming down like that. But this is all shoulder. So the shoulder blade comes in underneath the skin here and connects here, and then you connects into our forearms bones right there. Same thing, there's the shoulder here. There's the shoulder blade on the other side. If we were to see through, comes into here, comes back, and then back like this. So here I have him like he's turning direction. I could turn his arm this way, get the elbow more this way, and turn it this way. And then we could have the foot more like this. So if you just think about, and I'm drawing very, very roughly, obviously, sorry, but I want to get through this kind of quickly. Back to the hips. Think about this shape. See that kind of that bean shape? Hips right there, femur, knee, calf. And bears walk on their heels just like us. So you can feel that heel right there. And I could tie this down. I could knock that back. That's how I usually draw. I draw very, very quickly like this usually just to get the impression down. Then you can always go in very quickly and tie it down. Lots of hair here, and so on and so forth. and end up with a nice drawing. So there you go. There's your quick bear lesson. Woo. Yeah. There's our gull. Let me get rid of this. I got a couple questions here from Nick.
Go for it.
Jordan on Twitch asks, in your opinion, is speed and efficiency within art something that improves and comes more natural or over time, or can you make it come quicker? You know, the speed and efficiency is only going to come through just time and experience. It doesn't really come it's going to happen on its own. So don't rush it, and just keep doing a lot of art, and your speed and efficiency will improve drastically. Question, Aaron. I'm having trouble with making my drawing look good when I flip it. Any tip or exercises for making it look good when I flip the image? Well, see, for me, that's the whole point of flipping the image. The whole point of flipping the image is, where am I here? Why does this look so weird? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing.
You're on some sort of layer.
No, I was. Thanks.
You're somewhere.
The whole point of when you flip the image is to see what's wrong. So it's gonna look weird. It's gonna look funky. The reason I flip the image is when I see that it's looking weird, then I start adjusting it so it looks better. So I mean, the whole point of it is to see where see how it looks weird, and go in and adjust it. So you just have to get in there and do that. Jack on YouTube says, I can barely contain my excitement. Awesome.
Nice.
So here, I want to get a flow that comes up this way. So you can see how loose I get here, because I want to feel fluidity coming down in here. Right along here. Sorry. Go ahead, Dustin.
Was it seeing Tarzan that gave you the idea of bringing Phil Collins on board for Brother Bear?
Well, that's not what gave. Originally, I wanted to get Peter Gabriel, and because he's a little bit more primitive, or not primitive, but tribal, I guess, and a lot of his stuff, and that's who I was originally wanting to get. I love Phil Collins. It's just that he had just done Tarzan, and I wasn't sure how Disney would feel about wanting to use him again. And like I said, I was really wanting to get Peter Gabriel. So, but once we started talking, the studio really loved what Phil had done with Tarzan, and he had just gotten the Oscar nomination, and that's a nice thing to get, and it helps sell records. And so Disney was maybe hoping for a repeat with that. And so instead of getting Peter Gabriel, I got Phil, and we actually had a great time. It was very good.
Nice.
And so that's how we ended up there. And then here I'm going to add maybe another fish. There's another gull up there, but I think I'm just going to have this gull, just the one gull, like they're buddies. And this one fish kind of laying here, maybe half eaten. I won't make it too gross, but it's going to be a sockeye salmon. Gills, and maybe a little redness there. And him saying, actually, I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over here, more in front of him. Oops.
Trying to figure it out.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. And,
yes, sure I am.
And someone's asking
Put it right
me a
there.
question, if I may answer it.
Real quick, I have one more question.
Go for it.
What is my opinion of Timothy Treadwell, and have you seen Grizzly Man? I actually knew Timothy Treadwell, and yes, I've seen Grizzly Man. I had Timothy Treadwell in my office for quite a while.
Wasn't he a consultant?
Yeah, he consulted with us on bear behavior, and Timothy was actually in Alaska shooting some extra footage for us for the DVD, because we wanted to have a little documentary on grizzlies for the Brother Bear DVD, and that's when he was up there and he was eaten. So we never, obviously, we couldn't use any. We don't want any of that footage, and it would be in bad taste. But he was up there working for us when unfortunately, he was killed. He was, I think he was reckless. I think he was passionate. I think he truly loved the bears that he wanted to save. But I think he humanized them too much. And I thought his heart was very much in the right place, and I thought he was very, very cool. But we were always afraid that something like what happened would happen. And I remember talking with the biologist when this place where I'm doing this painting from at McNeil River, talking to them about him, and they were really afraid about what his actions would do to the bears, because even though he loves these bears and he wants to save them, if one of them decided to do which one did kill him and eat him, then he's, in essence signing a death warrant for that bear. And that's exactly what happened. The bear that killed Timothy was in turn, and he was the bear was killed, and then another bear came up, and it was killed. And not only was Timothy killed, but his girlfriend was killed. He got her killed as well. So it was that reckless behavior that really should never have happened. That it was unfortunate and horrible.
Oh, somebody says, oh, by the way, today is Sleeping Beauty's 60th anniversary.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Very cool. Question, which grade Copic markers do you use? Copic numbers. I think I use mainly neutral, like 3 through 6. Because I work on a gray paper. So the paper is already fairly gray. So 3 through 6 does me well. I don't use Copic markers a lot. What were you going to ask earlier? Did we miss the question?
Yeah, if I do remember it, it was a question towards me. The person was asking if I still play Warhammer, but never played the original Warhammer. I played Warhammer 40K, but I have my collection still, but I don't play it anymore. I actually haven't painted another figurine since the week that Mom passed away, and that was like over 10 years ago.
That was 12 years ago.
Yeah. I haven't really done any of that since. I mean, I play the computer games once in a while, but that's about it. But at some point, I want to get back into it. But anyways, could you do photos of your animal skulls from different angles and upload them to your website?
Yes, I'm assuming this is the same person that asked this last week.
Martin Berger?
I don't know, but someone asked the same exact thing last week. I'm assuming it's the same person, maybe not. But I talked to Nick about it, and we thought that was a great idea. So we are going to be doing that.
Do you have any tips for movement in drawing, or when a character is in motion?
Well, you want your. I just want to move this over just a little bit more. I want a little bit more scenery. When you're drawing something in motion, especially from life, you got to kind of look at it in flashes if you're trying to draw something that's moving. If you're talking about just drawing an action pose, then you want fluidity. You want to find the action lines, things that are going to make that pose feel much more dynamic. I really recommend looking at Muybridge, Muybridge. Muybridge. He photographed animals in motion, and I know I have. Where's my Muybridge books? Dustin, do the thing. Find my Muybridge books. Find my Muybridge book.
I don't know where to look. I don't know where to start.
I don't have anything in order right now.
I don't know where to look.
But anyway, look at Muybridge, or if you're talking about just drawing animals as they're moving, then you really want to know their anatomy to begin with. That's the first thing. And once you know the anatomy, then that enables you to look at an animal moving, like a bear, for instance, and get a sense of a pose. But then you can quickly jot that pose down from both memory and observation. The memory being what you already know about anatomy, and then observation, obviously, to make it specific to the animal that you see in front of you. So there you go. Here's a picture that Nick sent over of Phil and Tina. This is from the night that we had our. Let me see here. Let me do this. Save image. And I save it to the desktop. And then I'm going to come over to Photoshop. Open. There she is. There, here. So this is the night of our premiere. So I was sitting, I think, in the fourth or fifth row, and Tina flew all the way from Zurich and sang the opening song of Brother Bear, Great Spirits. And Phil came out and sang with her, and it was very, very cool. Very cool evening. So there's that. Let me go back to. Hello. There we go. Get rid of that. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Aaron, can you do an oil painting course? Yes, I can. We actually have that in the works. We were planning on doing that, and yes, I'll be doing it. Sorry, I shorted out there. Did you see that?
Yeah, I think I smell your brain frying.
Yeah, I'm looking at something right now. I want to see if I can get this to go a little more slumped. That feels a little more like, ugh, I'm full.
Do you have a website with a photo stock of bears, or do you use only yours?
I use only mine. I've got a lot of photos of bears. As a matter of fact, Thursday we will not be doing a live stream as I'm flying to Montana to photograph more bears and lots of other things. But if I show you, like, I can show you this right here. This is just part of my my library. I've got a lot of other ones. Let me see here. Where are we? Here. Let me pull up here. Come on. I'm getting there. I've got a lot of wildlife like right here. So these are let me show you. Let me make these a little bigger. So you can see, I like to photo. There's a guy that we go and see up in Montana that has a lot of North American big game wildlife that he has for photographing and painting models. And so we go up and photograph, and I use these as reference, along with, when you have this reference and you also have the anatomy knowledge. If you study the anatomy, then you have all the material you need to do the paintings and the animation and everything else. And so that's what I've got, literally thousands of photographs like this, and it's really, really great stuff. I love that photo, the look in his eye, and I love that photo. You can see here, he's an old bear. He's in his mid-20s, so his teeth are a little worn down, and he wasn't even making any sound in that photo. He was just going, nah, nah, nah. It was pretty funny. And I got some other ones in here. Those are coyotes. Yeah, we did the same thing with coyotes. I've got so much North American game photos, and these are the things that I use, when I'm creating my paintings, and You know, if I have a question about, I try to create my own poses, and then I go back to a lot of this stuff to double check my anatomy and make sure that it's accurate and that sort of thing. Here we have a mountain lion. So I literally, I mean, I've just got thousands and thousands and thousands of photographs, like so, like these. And we're back at our bear again. So anyway, that's what I do. Yes, I use my own. So long story short, I use my own photographs.
And how did you like the design of the polar bears in Golden Compass?
I liked the designs of them. I thought the designs were very cool. I wish the animation could have been pushed a little bit more. I felt like the animation was held back. I thought they could be a little more dynamic in the animation.
Also, like they just felt very stiff at times, or
well, like when they were running across the ice, I felt like they could have gotten a little bit more dynamic in the running and pushed it a little bit more. Yeah.
What about the Jungle Book's bear? Not Life of Mowgli, but the Disney Jungle Book.
I liked it. I just wish I wish they would go more uh like use a bear from that area. Now, you know, there is Asiatic brown bears, but uh if they had, you know, gone with more of like a sloth bear or something like that, I think it would have been really cool.
Are they just as big as
Yeah. Yeah, and they're and it's, you know, they're of that region. They're weird looking bears, so maybe that's, you know, that's not the bear that people from North America think about. But, you know, they're pretty cool bears. I think any bears are cool. So I'm just tying this down. Still staying fairly rough, quick or spontaneous, I should say. Once again, I want to remind you guys that I've got a promo code going on my website, creatureartteacher.com. So if you go to the website and you purchase anything today, put promo code 15BEARS, 15BEARS, and you'll get 15% off of your order, of your entire purchase.
Did they use the wrong species in that movie in Jungle Book?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole point. What I'm trying to say.
What kind of bear was it?
It's like an Asiatic brown bear, a grizzly, like a grizzly. It's the Asian version of a grizzly bear.
That's what they used in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought grizzlies were specifically in.
Well, there's brown bears they're basically all over the northern hemisphere, and then there's a lot of subspecies within those bears.
Gotcha.
There's basically 8 species of bears around the world. That's it.
When looking for reference for human characters, do you use yourself or people you know, or go out in public for inspiration?
I usually use people I know or myself, because then I can direct them to pose the way I need them to pose.
And where are the biceps on bears? They don't seem to be visible anywhere.
No, the biceps are buried underneath. They're actually, pectorals go over the top of them as well. The biceps are on the inside, right by the shoulders, and they're tucked way inside. Bears, imagine the shoulders being really pulled in, really tight, and the biceps are turned in, you know, and up underneath.
Do you like writing stories, and have you ever written any screenplays?
I've been part of writing screenplays. I've never written a screenplay on my own, but I co-wrote Brother Bear, and I've co-written a lot of other projects that we've worked on. But I haven't actually done the writing for the screenplay. And I love writing stories. Yes, I've written, but not in screenplay format.
Was there the facility where you photographed those animals?
This is Wildlife of Montana, or Animals of Montana. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
And someone else commented, there are brown bears found in India.
Thank you. But it's not as common.
But they're there.
It's Animals of Montana, Inc. No, that's not it. Sorry. That's a band. I'm looking at wildlife. Come on.
What did you think of the film Brave?
I loved it. Ink. Animals of Montana Inc. I guess that is. I did have the right place. They were just. They've changed it up a little bit. Okay, gotcha. So if you go to animalsofmontana.com, that's animalsofmontana.com. These are the people that I go to. So it's a really great bunch of people.
And what's the resolution of the photos in the creature/elephant skin texture pack?
I can't remember off the top of my head. It's pretty high res.
Like 480p?
No, it's more than that. It's I think I shot them at. I think they were shot at 12 or maybe 18 megapixel. 12 megapixel. Are you looking a little droopy-eyed, Dustin? I think Dustin's getting droopy-eyed.
Just a tiny bit, but I can still work.
I thought you were being a little quiet over there.
No, honestly, there wasn't really that many comments.
You
want to look at this? There's not that many questions.
Oh my gosh, you're doing it again.
There's not that many questions. How do you like the bear and Balto?
Oh, I like him. I think he was a little too squishy.
Too squishy?
Yeah.
Well, there was he had the two polar bear buddies.
Those are the ones I'm thinking of.
But then wasn't there like an actual villainous bear that followed?
Oh, man, you know what? I think you're right. That I can't remember. You know, maybe I do need the other gull over here. But right now I'm just going to focus on this because I've got a lot of painting to do.
Yeah, I did like the two polar bears. They were quite adorable. Especially the bigger one of the two who did speak.
Yeah.
Ever thought about drawing a short-faced bear? Big, 12 feet tall, Ice Age beast?
Oh yeah, I've drawn them before. And the spectacled bear of, is it spectacled in South America? Yeah, spectacled bear is the closest relative of the short-faced bear.
Sarah Knudsen says, I'm back and now I want an answer. What's your top 3 of Disney characters that you haven't drawn?
Oh. My top 3 Disney characters that I haven't drawn. Okay, let's see. Man, I never really drew Bambi, and I love Bambi. So I've always got to go to my Bambi is my Bambi. I've always got to go to Bambi because it's always my kind of my go-to.
My Bambi.
Maleficent, and
That's a good one. And it's 60-year anniversary of that.
yeah, Ratigan was cool.
Oh, Ratigan.
Yeah.
Great mouse detective.
Yeah, that was Glenn Keane.
Yeah, I think my all-time favorite scene was the first introduction of Ratigan with his villainous song.
Yeah.
With the drunk mouse in the group kind of saying the R word in front of him.
Yeah.
Like,
The rat? What?
where can one buy a replica bear skull?
Go to Bone Clones.
Bone clones.
Bone Clones. That's where you get it. Sorry, Nick, I can't see your questions right now if you have any. I'm trying to, I had to, I'm looking at the feet, trying to get the rhythm of the feet right.
Oh, Mandy's here.
Manny, I'm going to see you in a couple days.
Yeah, he's asking, when will you go back to Animals in Montana?
Well,
Well, it's like
well,
this.
it's so, well, you see, it's like this.
Well, Mandy, you see, it's kind of like this.
We're going to be there in, I'm going to be at the Wild Animals of Montana in 1, 2, 3, 4 days.
There's one.
Let's see what Nick has.
You say you're flying on Thursday?
I'm flying on Thursday.
That's 3.
YouTube question: what can we expect from the watercolor course, content-wise? Looking forward to it enormously. Well, I'm going to show you different methods that I have that I use for doggone it. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to show you different methods, from very simple watercolor washes with ink drawing over the top of them so you can create art that way, all the way from, I'm going to show you how to create washes, dry brush techniques, wet and wet, all kinds of stuff. I'm also going to show you, rendering in watercolor and staying loose in watercolor, landscapes in watercolor. Lots of, I'm still planning it all out, but there's going to be a lot of plein air painting in watercolor. What else? Studio painting. Keeping it loose, keeping it tight, whatever you want to do. I've got different rendering tightly as well as staying loose in watercolor. So I've got a lot of different things I want to go over with you. But I mean, everything from just setting up your drawing area, your painting area, what brushes to use, what paints to use, all of that.
Because I want a ringtone of Dustin saying,
Did you ever get an offer to work with Don Bluth, Warner, or DreamWorks while you were working at Disney? I've gotten offers to work with all three while I was working at Disney, but I turned them down. There we go. So now. Shoot, I'm drawing. I combine the layers. I do this every time.
come on, man.
Where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone?
Oh, yeah.
I searched the world over and thought I found true love. You made another and you met another and you was gone. Gotta get this right.
You ever draw superheroes? Maybe a cross between Herculean wrestler and a bear?
No, I don't do a lot of superheroes. It's just not my bag, baby. But I love superhero art, comic book art, and that sort of thing. It's just not, it's not my thing. So I don't do too much of it at all.
Was Grizz / Tug inspired by Jimbo the Kodiak that used to live at the Orphaned Wildlife Center in New York?
No. Grizz was inspired by oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. I knew it for years. He's the bear that played the bear. He was the bear that was in The Great Outdoors. Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Aaron, what are some good things to practice when you first start out drawing? Look at form. Look at trying to emulate form. Try to draw what you see and not what you think, because that will fill up your library. Really looking at form, look at light, look at the way light falls on objects. Any kind of habit that you can get into that does that type of thing is going to be good, because it's really teaching you how to see the world and then translate it into coming out of your arm, coming out of your hand. So
Grizzly Adams?
No.
The name of the bear you were trying to...
No, it was Bart. It was
Bart the Bear.
Bart the Bear. That's what it was. Bart the Bear. He was inspired by Bart.
If you have only one singer to recommend, who will it be?
Only one singer?
One singer.
I don't know. That's a tough one. I can't no, I can't do that. No.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't do that.
Yes, you can.
No, I refuse. There's too many wonderful singers out there to say just one. No. I love Phil, but no, I don't. That's not my one that I would recommend.
No. You worked on Aladdin.
Hey, yeah, I did. YouTube question. Do you recommend naming your hairs? I do. And you know what? I do recommend it. I teach it in my course. Do I do it? Often I don't.
Such a hypocrite.
I know I am.
Be sure to name your layers. You don't name a single one yourself.
I know.
Who do you like best, Elvis or Sinatra, and why is that?
That's apples and oranges. It really is. So I like them both. I know I always do this, but I can't. It's apples and oranges. They're completely different.
I mean, I like Sinatra because of his kind of music, and he was very, very classy. And then Elvis being the rebel and his unique kind of dancing, his rock and roll style of that era.
Yeah, I definitely think Elvis was more, laid back and whatnot.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Whatnot. Yeah, both were great in their own way, and I absolutely love both of them in their own ways. And I love singing to their music all the time.
Actually, you do both of them really well.
Like it very much.
Give us an Elvis song, Dustin. Come on, Dustin, give us an Elvis song.
I'll save that for another day.
Come on, man.
I'll save it for another day.
What are my thoughts on the live-action Aladdin trailer? I haven't seen it yet.
What's your favorite Stevie Ray Vaughan song?
Oh, man. Riviera Paradise. Instrumental. On his last album before he passed away. That last album, he did, I think it was Riviera Paradise is the album name. I could be wrong. I can't remember now. But he'd just gotten clean, and I think he was creating some of the best music he had ever created sober. And it was awesome. And he'd gotten a new lease on life. And so Riviera Paradise was a song he did, a big, long instrumental. And I really feel like it's the direction he would have kept going had he kept playing music, more of a jazz blues feel. And man, is it good. I used to put that on and just put it on repeat and play it over and over and over. Riviera Paradise.
Well, you were saying, give us Elvis. And I was like, no, give us Sinatra.
Who said that? It's just people were saying,
yeah,
they were arguing.
Said leaning. Said, no, give us Sinatra. But you ever consider doing art for video games? Now it's a thing on classic animation. If you can, I help.
It's not something I really aspire to do. I don't really think about it much. I think video game art is cool. I just don't know if it's something it's not something I'm looking to do.
I don't know. Dustin, do the thing. What thing? I don't know what thing you're talking about.
The thing.
I don't know what you're on about. I believe that you need to do the thing.
YouTube question: is finding a style important if you've been drawing for years? Well, if you've been drawing for years, you probably have a style, whether you realize it or not. Most people who don't think they have a style, they have a style. Even me now, I don't feel like I have that distinctive of a style, but a lot of people tell me I do. And a style will emerge uh, over years of working. So if you're looking for a style, just draw, just paint, just create, and your style will emerge. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I don't know that it's, I mean, a style is always important, obviously, because people want to know, you want people to know who you are and know your work and that sort of thing. But um, as far as, when it happens, it'll just happen. It automatically evolves. So don't worry about having to have it. Just let it happen. If and that makes sense.
What are your camera settings for wildlife?
My camera settings?
Yeah.
It depends on the light. I mean, I shoot digitally 35 millimeter, but it depends on the light as far as what my camera settings are.
What are your thoughts about Disney remaking all these old animated features into live action?
I love it. I think it's kind of cool. Personally.
The person finishes saying, many of my friends consider it like senseless and only like a way to make profit.
Okay, well, they're in the business of making money, first of all. So, maybe so. But they've also been wildly successful, so they're doing something right. Um, you can be cynical about it and say, yeah, they're just doing it to make money. But pretty much every film company in Hollywood is making films so they can make money. There's not a major film company in Hollywood that's just doing it for the art. So everyone, no matter, I don't care what anybody says to you, we're all in it making it to make money. So there's that. And then uh, I think each film that they're doing is enough different that they're creating something new. I think it's pretty cool. I like to see the work that I did 25 years ago reinterpreted into live action. I personally think it's pretty freaking cool. And I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I think that's great. But I like seeing old art reinterpreted. I don't know why it's senseless. There's no reason to call it senseless. I don't see it that way at all. I think it's kind of fun. And sure, maybe it is a money grab, but they're doing something that's entertaining. Until they do something that's not, then you can complain all you want after that. But I think Jungle Book was entertaining. I think Beauty and the Beast, for what it was entertaining. Uh, uh, um, Alice in Wonderland, I thought was entertaining. So sure. YouTube comment. I've recently been getting extremely upset at Aaron. When I finish with my cart and proceed to leave it there, I get a guilty feeling and hear your voice. Put your cart away. So I do. Oh, great. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, personally, to me personally, when it comes to the Disney live action adaptations, they are great, but I can see what the person means by like not changing a whole lot of it. Like the most unique one of them all thus far to me personally is Maleficent, because that is Sleeping Beauty, but through Maleficent's point of view, and thus creates that same story, but in a entirely new way. Things like that. Like it would be more interesting if they did like the villain's point of view of these like live action adaptations or something to really change the game of these live action adaptations. Like that's my personal thought.
Well, that's great.
Yay! You're a guitar guy. Do you like Eddie Van Halen?
Sure, it's not my preferred style, but yeah, I like Eddie Van Halen. Okay, so let's get down and dirty here. I got to start getting some ground covered in here. YouTube comment, it looks like you're drawing on a locked layer number 7. Why is that? Because on layer number 7, that's the bare color, and I locked it because I wanted to be kind of free with the color and not spill outside the silhouette. I had already established the silhouette, and so I decided I didn't want to spill outside of it, so I locked it. All right, so later on, I'm going to get some more. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, let me go into here. Let's see, let's go into texture.
Into Tector?
Just want to adjust this texture just a little bit. Can't remember, there it is.
Ready for another question?
Go for it.
In following your drawings in Photoshop, is there a method to see the tools in various settings more effectively? Currently, it is difficult to see your selection since the toolbar is so tiny.
Say that one more time, sorry.
Is there a way for the people to actually see what tool settings you're going through and everything, since the menus on their point of view?
Not right now, there's not, because I can't blow them up. But I will do that next time. If you're probably watching on your phone, you might need a bigger screen.
We're going to need a bigger TV, like 65-inch TV.
Let's see there. There we go.
Aaron, why did you pick a red shirt? Was it Dustin telling you to wear it?
No, I just had a red shirt on today, just by chance. What sort of paint was used to color the old animation acetates, and how were they inked? With a brush and pen, or with India ink? They're actually brushed with a pen. It was like a small brush, but it was different colored inks. It wasn't India ink. And the paint, I think it was their own type of, their own formula. So I'm not quite sure what the paint was. I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask.
What have you studied?
What have I studied?
Like probably like what were your majors in Ringling?
Ringling, my Ringling, I studied illustration. That was my major. And then obviously I've studied animation, but that was on my own after I left. Lots of painting. I've studied a lot of painting on my own. That sort of thing. I'm just trying to get a variance of color in here. That's actually a question for Dustin. He needs to set up cursor highlights in OBS. Oh, there it is, Dustin.
Cursor highlights.
When we got to do that afterwards. We can't do it today.
I know now.
But when I'm over somewhere, we can do cursor highlights. Like when I'm over, picking a layer or something.
Yeah, I don't know how that.
We'll figure it out.
How that works, but do you enjoy blues guitarist Jeff Healey and his band?
I certainly do. I did. I mean, he's passed away now, but I think he was genius. Quite Canadian too.
And
you like Jeff Healey, Dustin?
Huh?
You like Jeff Healey? You know who he was. I know you don't. He was a blind guy. He sat in the chair and played with the guitar on his lap.
I'll probably remember if
You'd
heard his songs.
Yeah, you will. You would.
But now apparently Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame is getting a live-action remake as well. That's gonna be interesting.
Well, that one's already been done in live action, so I mean, there's a question right there.
Well, Disney's Disney's.
No, but what I'm saying is it's already been done in live action, but Disney did it in animation. Did anyone get upset about Disney doing it because it's already been done? I don't think so.
I think the Disney's Hunchback is different from the true story of both the movie and the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so this live action version is going to be based off of the animated version that Disney made.
Right.
So, I mean, honestly, if they went more towards the book version, then yeah, it'd be new and unique. But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
Yeah, we will.
We will. I will. I will.
I will keep dreaming. I will keep dreaming.
Friend, when I wake up, you better hope. You better hope you're asleep.
So just roughing in the background here. Once again, remember on my website, creatureartteacher.com, put in the promo code 15bears. The promo code 15bears, BEARS, and you will get 15% off your complete order. So I'm going to throw a layer on top, and I'm just going to start, I set it to multiply. I'm going to start throwing in some shadow. Now, one of the things that I want to do that is not in the, I want to throw some attention toward, okay, I'll have the shadows cool. I'm going to have the top of them. I know this is kind of the crutch that I do, but I think it's really going to work in here, which is throwing the part of the bear in light and part of the bear in shadow, because where they sit down in this McNeil River area, the bears are all they're down below the banks, and so I think especially at low light, the banks would be casting a shadow across the bear. So I think that can be kind of cool. So that's what I'm going to do here.
How many hours do you sleep a day?
How many hours do I sleep a day? So random.
2.
I actually sleep. I try to get 8 hours if I can. Being the old man that I am.
Where can I download your Photoshop brush?
Is. You can download it on my website, creatureartteacher.com.
Oh, bam!
It's .com.
It's .com.
Yeah, creatureart.
.net.
It's .com.
When will we get to see Coda as an adult?
Never?
Oh.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think there's any plans in doing a sequel with him as an adult.
Which studio did you prefer working at, Florida or Cali?
Florida. Preferred working in Florida. We were a very tight family, and I loved my Florida family, animation family.
Yeah, the Florida studio, if I remember right, was a lot more laid back, but
It wasn't just laid back. It was we were close.
Right.
So I just never felt that in the California studio. Facebook question. Aaron, have you heard about the 3-year-old that got lost in a forest and claims a bear looked after him? I did. I heard about that yesterday. And I don't know that it was a bear. I don't know that I can believe that, but I would love to believe that. I'd make a great story. But he's also 3 years old, and it could have been a big dog, so who knows? But I know a lot of people want to believe that it was a bear, and that was a big miracle and everything. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know that I believe it.
Have you drawn any anteaters?
I have drawn anteaters in the past. That's a very strange question. But yes, I have drawn anteaters.
Sandwich of choice?
My sandwich of choice is an Italian sub.
Italian sub?
Yes.
Nice.
Very much so.
What was the hardest character you had to animate when working at Disney Animation?
The hardest character I ever animated was probably Beast. Beast was pretty difficult. You know, he's very complex, and he was very rewarding when you pulled it off, you know. And Glenn Keane had very high standards. Nick says, I believe it. As the only witness there, no reason to doubt him, in my opinion. I know. I would love to believe it. I would love to believe that that was a bear that took care of that kid. I just think that would be an awesome story. I just don't know that I believe it.
If I remember right, the trickiest scene he animated was the Roger Rabbit with the pendulum swing. Right?
Yeah, that was a tricky scene.
Good morning, Vedanta.
Good morning. It's early afternoon.
Yep.
Vedanta was awake all night last night. So now you can see what I've done is I want to add a little bit of drama by changing up the shadow on here and just giving him, so it feels like there's a bank. The light is shining over this embankment coming up onto the left side. That's the idea there. And then we can get really warm. But then see, I've got to go in on the rest of it, and I've got to go in on the rest of it and get that all in shadow.
Have you drawn Achilles?
I've only drawn Achilles in very quick sketches. I got to do more.
Do you watch the Oscars? Have you attended it before? And do you have any funny stories related to the Oscars that you can tell?
Yeah, I was nominated for an Oscar, so I've been to the Oscars. Well, I wasn't nominated, but the movie was nominated. Brother Bear was nominated for Best Feature Animation Film, and so myself and my co-director Bob Walker and our dates at the time, my wife Karen and his girlfriend, we all went to the Oscars along with Chuck, our producer. And hold on, sorry, I gotta going a little crazy here. And yeah, I mean it was fun. We obviously we lost to Finding Nemo, which we knew was going to happen before we even got there, because it was, hey, it's Finding Nemo. We just know it's going to happen. But let me move this up here. I think we're going to just put that back up on top. And just go right over the top of that gull. There we go. So now I'm getting a nice shadow. I'm starting to get some nice shadow shapes now. And let that just kind of fade out. Like there's spray there. So this is starting to feel, you can get a kind of a sense of, okay, now we can see the warm and the cool and the light and the shadow and all that. But yeah, at one point, when we knew, right after we knew we had lost, they had announced the winner for Best Animated Feature. Karen and I decided to go and have a few drinks and just go up to the bar at commercial break. We went to commercial, and so we went to the bar to go get a little bit loaded. And the only guy at the bar was, other than the bartender, was Clint Eastwood.
The one and only Clint Eastwood.
Yes, and so I went up to Clint Eastwood, and we were both a little bit in the bag at this point.
I thought it was Mom.
It was Mom. It was Mom.
I
said, don't. Exactly. I said, don't. No. And she says, no. And so she goes, Mr. Eastwood, I want you to meet my husband. He was nominated for an Oscar. I said, hey, how you doing? I said, can we buy you a drink? I still remember him saying, he goes, well, the drinks are free, but I'll take a white wine. And so we got him a white wine, and we sat there and we drank and we talked about movies and how much of a fan I was of his, and so far, so on, and whatnot.
That must have been a hell of an experience.
It was great. Yeah, and then I always have my Prince story where I went to the bathroom because people ask, about different celebrities, and so I always like to say that I met Prince, and so your mother was in the bathroom, and Prince's girlfriend was in the bathroom, and we were both standing on either side of the entrance to the bathroom, and so I looked over, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I went, hey, and he went, hey. And then she walked out, and they walked away, and that was my experience with Prince.
quick little. But you probably had to look down at him.
Yeah.
Him being so short.
Yeah.
Like, how tall was he actually?
He's tiny. He's a little guy.
Like 5'3", 5'4"?
I can't remember. I just know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know specifically. This is overlay. There we go.
Why do the Oscars favor Disney more than other animated films?
They don't. I'm not sure where that question's coming from. I don't think they do, actually.
If you were asked to work on a 2D animated film again, Disney or not, would you say yes?
I would say yes to the right project. I've been asked, actually. Not 2D, but I've been asked to direct some other projects. A couple of 2D things. Actually, there was a big 2D project that I was asked to work on, and I didn't like. It was kind of in your face and pretty graphic, and I didn't like the direction they were taking it. And I thought they could achieve the same goal by it not being so gory in your face. And but the director didn't agree with me, and so I said, "Great, that's fine, and good luck, and see you later." So I'm at an age now where I've already done all that stuff, and I just don't care about directing or working on a movie as much as I used to, unless it's what I want it to be. It's just not my. I like my nice, quiet, simple lifestyle that I have now, and it suits me just fine.
Would you come to Norway if we want you to join our team for the White Bear King? This might actually happen, though, the project.
Yeah, I mean, contact me outside of this and let me know what it is, and I would be really interested in hearing about it because just the title alone sounds really cool. Question: when are you and Ronnie doing another jam session? I saw you guys playing on Facebook, I believe, and it was awesome. One should draw and the other play and then alternate. Just an idea. We just went out and bought new guitars. We just bought new amps. And Vedanta got a new banjo. And so we're all playing music in the house constantly now. And so it'll be, I think I'm going to run this shadow. Sorry. I think I'm going to run this shadow over. Why does that look so bad? Oh, I know why. Because of this. I'm going to turn that off.
What did you do?
I want to try running the shadow this way. So I want him to pop a little bit more. So I want the light on him to pop against there.
Have you been to the Pantanal wetlands in Brazil?
I have not, and I would love to go. Matter of fact, South America, I haven't really been able to do much of traveling in the wilds much at all. I've only been into the cities. YouTube question: have I ever drawn a feathered T-Rex? And if so, did it still look intimidating? No, I have not drawn one yet. And I'm sure it could look intimidating.
Another random question. How often do you go to Disney World, and what's your favorite ride?
I never go to Disney World. I hardly ever
Why?
went to Disney. I hardly ever went to Disney World when I was working at Disney World.
It was mainly Mom, us, and myself that went to the parks all the time.
Yeah, I'm not a big parks person.
Not a huge fan of crowds.
No, I'm not a huge fan of crowds. I get anxiety with crowds.
I think my personal favorite was always Star Tours at MGM, or it now Hollywood Studios, but
Yeah.
yeah, I still call it MGM.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah, Star Tours was always my favorite. Cause hello, Star Wars.
Yeah, right?
And also the movie ride with all the animatronic characters and talking about the history of film.
Just going to turn that off. Yeah. Sorry, I've got to. This thing is.
Do what you gotta do. Just breathe in, breathe out.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Breathe in, breathe out. So have you visited the MGM studios at all after the studio closed?
Nope, I have not.
It is the most random question. Bananas or mangoes?
Mangoes.
Bananas for me. Tasty.
Jimmy on YouTube says, go on Super Bowl Sunday. It's the best time to hit up the theme park. It is. Also, going between Thanksgiving and Christmas is the best time to go.
They're just cheaper, just less crowds.
No, there's no crowds. There's nobody there.
When?
Between Christmas and New Year's, the parks are almost empty.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or at least they were back in the day. Nick says, Feathered T-Rex is a great idea for a stream. I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Do you like parks? Yellowstone is a park, isn't it?
Yeah, Yellowstone is a national park.
Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah. So I'm just laying in just little bits of color. I don't want to go too graphic with the blood, but there would be a fair amount of fish blood. He's so full.
So full. Have you eaten at any Brazilian steakhouse?
Oh, yes. I've eaten at Brazilian steakhouses in Brazil.
And have you tried Brazilian chicken hearts marinated skewers?
I've had chicken hearts. I can't say that I've had Brazilian chicken hearts. But I've had chicken hearts for sure. I've had chicken intestines. I've had chicken. Chicken. All right, so I'm going to do another. Sorry, this is taking me forever. My streams always take a long time, don't they?
They kind of do, yeah.
So now I want to start defining some of the form in the rocks. Get some deeper, darker areas in here. Go ahead, Dustin.
Need an opinion from a professional. Who's your favorite Disney princess?
My favorite Disney princess. I don't know.
It needs to be a professional opinion.
Yeah.
It needs an opinion from a professional.
Yeah, I don't know why that's so important, but probably. Well, she's not really a princess. I liked Mulan. Jasmine's not bad. She's pretty independent, strong. You know.
Let's say Rapunzel.
Nick says we did in Brazil. I remember because it was our first time. It was the first time for me. Was it eating the chicken hearts on the skewer? Oh, I remember the chicken hearts on this skewer. I thought you were talking about the wildlife place. You're absolutely right, Nick. Nick.
Bird.
Yeah, Nick did the thing. He ate the chicken hearts. I remember. We all ate the chicken hearts. I forgot.
Nick did the thing.
I completely forgot. It all just runs together for me. You never forget your first time chicken heart. That's true.
What does dynamic mean in terms of animation? Like dynamic animation?
Dynamic animation is animation that's not. It's dynamic in the way that it moves. It's broad. And it's very graceful, I think.
Is it type of like exaggerated animation in a way? Or?
Yeah, in some ways, but it doesn't have to be necessarily super exaggerated, because you can have very realistic animation that's dynamic. So here, is Jessica Rabbit a princess? No, she's not. No. Oops. So here I'm just adding kind of the darks around some of these stones to get some texture in here. I'm going to be throwing in some more texture with my brush that creates, the splatter effect. But I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to go down that crutch. I don't want to use that crutch yet. Do I like sun bears? I just learned that they existed. Yeah, I love sun bears. I like all bears.
Why is Nala not considered a Disney princess?
I don't know. Because she's not human, maybe?
Well, that would mean that Mufasa and Sarabi are not king and queen.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just making a guess. I got to change up the salmon color so you can see it better. I'm really doing this loose. Now, one of the things I want to I forgot to mention this earlier. One of the things I wanted to mention, when I do these animal drawings and paintings like this, especially something like this, quite often when I do these are for, if I'm doing a traditional painting, I'll do a digital painting like this first and work out a lot of the color and compositional issues. And then go back in and then, paint traditionally using it as reference.
Do you have a favorite Disney horse?
Yeah, Khan. Oh, no, and Khan and the horse from Tangled.
Maximus?
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's my favorite.
And speaking of sun bears, just real quick, Dustin.
Yeah.
Speaking of sun bears, I've got a full course on my website, creatureartteacher.com, on drawing bears, and it includes sun bears. I hit all 8 species of bears in the course that I created. Go ahead, Dustin. Sorry.
Oh, but it did Alex Cooperschmidt animate?
No, he did Khan.
Oh, he did Khan.
Yeah.
But I know there was something that we know from your old Disney buddies that did Maximus.
Yeah, I can't remember. So here, I'm just trying to get the gravel texture that you're going to get without drawing all the different pieces of gravel. I'm just trying to get very abstract shapes in here. I'm going to build this up. Sorry about the chair squeaking. Yeah. Yeah, baby. You all right there, Dustin?
Yep, I'm good. Just rearranging the chair. Yeah, sun bears are the smallest bears in the world, somebody comments.
Mm-hmm.
You never met Walt Disney, right? But you met Roy Disney.
I met Roy. Walt died before I was born.
Yeah, when did Walt pass away again? It was
I
like
think it was 66.
56. You met Roy.
Yes.
Who was his
Nephew.
And he was really involved with Brother Bear, wasn't he?
He was. I mean, he was very interested in what we were doing because of the nature aspect of it. Because Roy did a lot of the old Disney nature films back in the '60s, and he really loved what we were doing, and so we got to be pretty good friends during the making of the film. He was very interested. He'd come in and sit in the story room with us while we were working on it, and we would just kind of shoot the breeze and just talk about his old days of shooting and the stuff they would the miles of footage they would have to cut together to create a story from just shooting animals doing their thing, but they try to they had to try to find a narrative in all of that, and so they would they'd shoot miles and miles of footage just to find some kind of narrative in all of that. It's really tough.
And was he the one that when the testing crowd left was like, all right, now we know what not to do?
No, that was Tom Schumacher.
Tom Schumacher.
Yeah, no, he wasn't in on the day-to-day making of the movie.
He just came in.
Tom Schumacher was my boss. Yeah.
Hey Dustin, excited for Kingdom Hearts 3? I'm excited for everyone that plays it. I never played the Kingdom Hearts series, but I do understand it's a fantastic game and all that. But yeah, I never really got into those games. But definitely looking forward to seeing the reviews of Kingdom Hearts 3. And if somebody confirms that Walt passed in 1966.
Yeah. So here, I'm just trying, like I said, I'm just trying to get a little bit more texture.
I've learned a lot from your painting style in Photoshop and really like to exaggerate the lighting as you do, but sometimes I struggle to find which color I should use for my multiply and overlay layers. Do you have any tips for this?
Yeah, when you're doing overlay, that's usually a light, and so go warm with it. I would stay in the orange to yellow range and go, but mute it. Don't go super strong. And then when you're going in your shadows, keep them cool. And see what that does for you. I'm going to try something over here. I'm going to knock this back to 38%. I want to get like a wet puddle layer. And I want some of these shadows to feel like they're underwater. Underwater. There we go. Let's do that. Boy, that's way too much. Let's knock that back. So I'm just trying to create some puddles.
What makes flying scenes such as How to Train Your Dragon scenes realistic? Like
what makes those flying scenes realistic? Is that what the question was?
Yeah.
A lot of it, obviously, I think it's first of all, the way they shoot those things, the way they lay them out, and the scale with which they're shot at, it really puts you up in the clouds with them, which I think is amazing. And that's a big deal right there. So here I'm trying to get a little bit of reflection. Make it feel like a little bit of water in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the reflection of the bear. I'm going to fake it and just see what it looks like. It might not be right.
And when it comes to the the flying mechanics and everything for things like How to Train Your Dragon, a lot of times the animators would observe the way that birds would fly.
Yeah.
And see the way that they would the bird shifts its weight, not only the way they tilt the wings or anything, but just the whole body itself, the body language of of all the turns and everything that it would do to make these kinds of maneuvers. Maneuvers. And they would take that information and try to implement that into things like such as the dragons or the eagle or the hawk in Mulan. And things like that.
And things and such. And
things and
such. And such as things.
But yeah, I was always fascinated with the way that the dragons flew in How to Train Your Dragon.
They did a great job. I just thought an awesome job with that.
Dustin, what's your favorite anime besides Cowboy Bebop? I would have to say the Mobile Suit Gundam UC or Unicorn Gundam series. I've always loved the Gundam franchise, and Gundam UC they've really hit the ballpark with that one. Animation is amazing. The story is great. It's stuck with the original Gundam lore, yeah, just overall, it's a great anime.
Okay, I gotta jump over. Jin Stampede on YouTube asks, do you believe 100 years from now digital artists will be praised as much as traditional art masters and will be studied at art schools like Matisse and Van Gogh? No, I don't. But that's not to diminish what we do as artists digitally. I don't think there's as many groundbreaking artists back then. Were much more groundbreakers than we are now. I think there's not a lot more to be. I don't know. I'm babbling. I don't know that I feel that way. I don't know that I agree with that. But I definitely could be wrong. So who knows? But I think there'll be some. I don't know. I can't think of anyone today that's so groundbreaking that their name would carry on, for hundreds of years from now. I can't think of anybody. Twitch question: were you ever around the group that was responsible for animating Treasure Planet? Yes, I was. I wasn't in California at the time because that was made in California. I was in Florida, but I was around that group from time to time. What changes would you make in your approach when you draw an underwater scene? A lot of it's value, the light and dark, and the way that, because that environment's a completely different environment.
And also the way the hair moves and the
physics
of certain objects.
So we're gonna get this. We're getting there. We're getting somewhere here. I kind of like. Me likes.
Would animating in a realistic style just be ridiculously difficult for the animator?
It's been done. It's ridiculously difficult for the animator, yes. But it's something that's been done.
A lot of times.
So I'm going to be. Go ahead.
You go.
I was just going to say I'm going to be I'm going to be building up this water quite a bit here, and so you'll see what I'm going to do there. Sorry, Dustin. Go ahead.
Oh.
Dustin, do the thing.
Do the thing. But when it comes to 2D, a lot of times for the more difficult, more detailed sort of animation, that's where they would go into the the rotoscoping most of the time, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Such as like Anastasia uh, and Titan AE. They would actually bring actors onto a floor, and they would act out the scene, and the animators would go in and reanimate that bit, so that way they can see the cloth movements and everything. So the realistic style can be done. It just takes a few extra steps to get that detail down.
Yeah, the Shinzei says on YouTube suggests that Craig Mullins might go down in history in the way you described. You know what? I don't know that I agree. I thought of Craig Mullins, and I love Craig Mullins' work. Don't get me wrong. I think he's amazing. But is he that far outside the box? I think he's absolutely incredible with what he does. But I don't know that he's that far outside the box that he's creating something completely new. I don't know. I don't know that I agree. But like I said, I could be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I like it when I'm wrong. Who knows?
Speaking about studying about how birds fly from earlier, I struggle with seeing what birds' tails do when they fly. I know kestrels use their tails a lot to do their trademark covering. Will you be covering this in your bird course? Can't wait for that course, by the way.
Yes. I'll be covering a lot of different stuff as far as locomotion goes. Shoot. Don't want that. There we go. So here, I'm just trying to get a little bit of spray. There we go. Start to get a little texture in there.
Don't mind me, I'm just trying to find a new comment or question. I'm out. I'm out of ammo.
This is just laying down a base for some of the splash. TwitchQ, excited about the Lightbox Expo. Can you tell me more about what you will show us? I don't know yet. We're still that's still a long ways off for us. So I've got a lot of planning. We've got a lot of work to do before we get to that.
That's when in August or something, or
That's going to be in September, I believe.
oh, September.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
What do you like to do when you're bored?
I like to paint.
Simple enough.
I think my granddaughter's here. Who's here? What? Hey. We're working. We're on live stream. Who is that?
Hello?
Hello?
Morning.
Hello, I didn't know that you were on live stream.
It's okay. We got people coming in. Whoops.
What is the rotoscope job in 2D or 3D movie production?
The rotoscope job? It's.
Rotoscope, yeah.
I mean, you're tracing out the paths and directions of live actors or live action, whether it's at live actors or other things that have been filmed in live action, and you have to track that kind of stuff. As an animator, you're actually tracing that to do the animation, but as a rotoscope artist, it could be for 3D, it could be for any number of different things.
Yeah, because rotoscoping, like as Aaron just mentioned, it's tracing certain characters as they act out a scene, but also rotoscopers would also rotoscope everything else in the room, from the shelves to the car to its wheels. Every little detail would be rotoscoped, and that could be used for 3D depth conversion, which is what I did in my job, as well as using it for visual effects to cut out the background or bring something in and make sure that it goes properly through the plane.
Yep.
Like all these little details come into play, and rotoscopers really help out with that. And when it comes to 3D, such as CG, that is mocap, which is basically like a three-dimensional rotoscoping done in real time.
Which question? Oh, I got that one already. All right, I'm gonna have to call this pretty soon because the grandkids just got here.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Earlier, you said you're coming to Seattle on the 8th. Are you doing workshops there or working other projects?
I'm working with DigiPen, so it's a private engage. I'm working with the students at DigiPen, and but we'll be coming back on another time that we might be able to do something more public. So here I gotta, like I said, I have to go and take care of my granddaughter because she just showed up, and so I'm gonna have to call it quits for today. But this is something I'd like to pick up on and continue on with you guys later. And I'm liking how this is coming along. It's just gonna take a while to do it. So I want to, I don't want to get super detailed yet. So I'm just gonna stick with throwing down broad brush strokes. There we go. But anyway, remember, if you go to my website, creatureartteacher.com, and you want to make a purchase, make sure on your way out you put in the promo code 15bears, 15BEARS, and you will save 15% on your order. We're drawing bears today, and so you will save 15% on that order. It'll be awesome. So right now I'm really just trying to get the light to read. As you can see, I'm trying to get the musculature, but I'm still not worrying too much about detail. I just want to get masses to read.
How often do you stream? I've enjoyed watching this today.
I stream every Tuesday and Thursday, although this coming Thursday I won't be streaming because I'm going to be in Montana. So remember that, folks. I'm going to be in Bozeman, Montana coming up from Thursday through Sunday. So I will not be streaming, and I will be out photographing wildlife and bears and wolves and all kinds of amazing North American wildlife. It's going to be awesome.
It will be back at live streaming next week, Tuesday.
Yes. So here I'm just roughing in some reflected light that's going to be bouncing off the bear's face because of the light in the water. So I'm just trying to get a little bit of that.
You also mentioned you're coming to Denmark. Will that be anything public or not?
That's going to be for the animation workshop. So the animation workshop is the animation school in Viborg. And we're going to be there on the 26th through the 28th, I believe, of April. And we're still working that out. There's not a whole lot written in stone yet, but we're still working on it. And we're really looking forward to it. I've been to the animation workshop in the past. I love that school. Students are brilliant. And so Nick and I will be there. And like I said, we're looking forward to it. And that's all we got. I'm going to show you guys the reference one more time, just to show you how much you can push it. So here is what I'm painting today, and working out that whole scene. Here's the reference that I'm going off of right here that I shot in Alaska. And so you can see I'm pushing the shadow and pushing the light. So here, and I wanted the attitude of the bear to be pushed. So I made him fatter, so it's a little bit later in the season. And I'm pushing his attitude just so he's a bit more, he's just lethargic. I want him to feel lethargic. And so I'm just going to keep working on layering this guy up, working on the layers. And where is that layer? There's that one, that one. There we go. That's the layer I'm looking for. I want to lighten these up a little bit because they're feeling a little too strong. There we go. But I'm going to keep working this, and then next week when we get back together, we'll be back together on Tuesday.
Tuesday next week.
But then I have to go to Seattle. I'm going to be so we might be out. We might only have one next week. So we're looking to do some public meetups, and we'll post more as we get together. And what we're talking about is Europe. So as we get closer and closer to our trip to Europe, we're going to be around the Liverpool area. We're going to be in Manchester. We're going to be around the London area. We're going to be in Dublin. We'll be in Viborg, and we'll be in Seville, Spain. And so we would love to do some meetups with people there. Maybe we get out and do some drawing together or something. I just think that would be an amazing experience, and just to meet you guys. So look for that, and as we get closer and get things more solidified, we'll be able to talk about it more. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know we didn't get anything finished today, but I wanted you to at least see my process for blocking out a painting that's, in its entirety. And then we're gonna keep working on it next week. I'll probably do some more on it later on once I get off of the line with you guys, because I kind of want to keep going after my daughter goes home, or my granddaughter goes home. But anyway, I just wanted you guys to see that. I hope you enjoyed it. Put some beauty back in the world. Go out there and draw and paint, but also be nice. Do something good for people. We need it nowadays, and so just go out and do it, and it'll make you feel better too. So put your grocery cart away if you're doing that, or just hold the door open for somebody or anything. But anyway, I will talk to you later. I'm going to go take care of my granddaughter and my grandson, and I will talk to you guys next week. And hopefully I'll have some really cool photos to show you from my trip to Montana on Thursday. So with that, Dustin, take it away.
See you guys.